This campaign is working to bring a simple message to practitioners, a message that can support practitioners as they talk with parents about infant sleep. The conversations need not be long or complicated. Information can focus on infants' breathing and arousal response, with emphasis placed on safe sleep practices. Listening to this presentation will help you pursue infant safety by introducing very simple, essential steps that will keep infants safe. Our babies look to us to know how to keep them safe and protected. In understanding how to protect our infants during sleep, we must first understand the risks infants face, particularly as related to SIDS. SIDS deaths are unexplained deaths not attributed to other causes, such as illness or disease, accidents, or neglect. Although babies do die due to SIDS-related tragedies, many of these deaths are preventable by pursuing protection and avoiding known risks. SIDS deaths account for over 50% of unexplained infant deaths. Our children's voice must be heard. We must find a way to protect infants as they sleep. Pursuing protection of our infants, heeding their voices for our care, begins in pregnancy, and risk passes through a critical stage and will depend upon the infant's vulnerability, the setting of sleep, and the environment in the home. By knowing what creates risk and focusing on the essentials of safety, we can keep infants safe. Pursuing protection of our infants begins by reducing risk and vulnerability. During prenatal care, this requires supporting mothers' focus on a smoke-free pregnancy, accompanied by exercise to reduce stress and good nutrition. Pursuing protection postnatally requires our understanding of what sleep environments will keep infants safe. Infants need us to know and to share information about the sources of risk. We must share this knowledge clearly and succinctly with parents. We can do this best by helping parents understand when infants are most vulnerable, helping parents understand that when risks and vulnerability are present, infants' arousal response and natural drive to breathe may be compromised. By heeding our babies' essential needs for sleep, we strengthen their natural responses to breathe and wake, and we reduce the elements in their environments that may increase risk. In this way, we work with our infants to assure their safety when needed, and we reduce the natural elements in their environments that may increase risk. In this way, we work with our infants to assure their safety, but that pursuit of protection relies on our knowing and understanding the sources of risk. More than any other consideration, we must talk to families about the essentials of care. In every location, with every routine, at every sleep, infants' breathing and arousal response must be protected. Infants have a natural drive to breathe controlled by their central nervous systems. However, unlike an adult's drive to breathe during sleep, infants may be more fragile due to many factors. SIDS is the outcome of the failure of infants' arousal response and natural drive to breathe. The key to safe infant sleep is to protect infants' arousal. Infants face many risks during nighttime care, risks that may compromise their natural ability to wake and their drive to breathe. Arousal is infants' defense for life-threatening events and is vital for infants' breathing. The critical age for infants' risk is during the very early months, the peak age for SIDS events to occur. Infants' age is only one factor that may impact their arousal response and lead them to stop breathing. Pillows under infants' heads can close their airways. Toys and bumpers can increase risk and decrease opportunity to observe infants as they sleep. Sleep spaces such as couches or chairs can increase risk. The debate about infant sleep locations often detracts from sharing what are known risks for infants as they sleep. Although the debate is important, leading to exploration, the debate often clouds parents' and practitioners' discussions of nighttime care. No matter the location, no matter the sleep practice, parents and practitioners must address the known risks. Infants' arousal and breathing must be protected. Infants must be face up and face clear for breathing. Infants must be cool, sleep away from soft bedding, be provided extra protection if sick. if born prematurely or at a low birth weight, or if parents smoke. These risks are not debated. Conversations must focus on what is known while research explores the current debates. Where baby sleeps is not the essential answer to keeping babies safe. The rates of SIDS may be lower in beds designed for babies. However, babies die in cribs as well as other spaces. So the focus must be on setting up every sleep space every time a baby sleeps to be safe, to protect arousal and breathing. There are some places a baby should not sleep, as their arousal and breathing cannot be protected. These locations are shown to increase risk of infant death because of an inability to arouse and breathe. But we can keep infants safe. Understanding what protects babies is the first step. Keeping this first step clear and simple is important. Protect breathing by protecting arousal and identifying risk and increased vulnerability. Keeping babies face up, face clear. The debate of where to sleep, co-sleeping or solitary sleep, focuses on the balance of keeping infants close and keeping infants safe. To provide protection, parents need to be close enough to see and listen to their infant to keep them safe. Babies need a space that is safe for breathing. The debate about sleep location, when babies are strong and healthy and parents are not smoking or under the influence of drugs or alcohol, may be best served with a focus on the essentials of infants' arousal response and breathing. When infants are vulnerable, they should sleep in their own sleep space. Times such as when their care providers smoke, their mother smoked during pregnancy, or they are ill, or following a premature birth. Knowing, however, does not lead to change in behavior. Change requires believing in risk and outcomes of choices that introduce risk. Thus, it is essential not only to provide knowledge about risk, to talk to parents about risk and protection, but also to align this knowledge with believing in what happens when risks are not heeded. We must respect the implication of risk and align both knowing and believing to change behavior. It is easier to know than to believe. The probability of infants' death during sleep in the presence of known risk events is often hidden. We share stories that diminish the probability that SIDS will occur. Stories of how infants have slept on their tummies, always rolled over at night, slept with parents when the parents smoked, have experienced all these risks and have been fine. But the reality is that risk is present. Believing is to know that the presence of risk can lead to infants' death. Parents may know that there is risk involved in not placing their infants on their backs, or using soft bedding, or keeping toys in their cribs. But they may not heed that risk, and may not believe in the reality of the risk. Parents may know that there is risk involved in not placing their infants on their backs, or using soft bedding, or keeping toys in their cribs. But they may not heed that risk, and may not believe in the reality of the risk. The risks are clear, the outcome of not believing tragic. Unsafe sleep position is a great risk for infants during sleep, as is maternal smoking and the use of pillows. Each can play a significant role in infants' vulnerability and in contributing to infants' risks of SIDS events. Making the risks clear can help to transform behavior, change caregiving, and help to make infant settings safe. SIDS deaths are highest and remain least changed in populations and communities that have high rates of cigarette smoking. People aren't likely to change their behavior if they don't believe the risks are real. Parents must believe that the risk of SIDS is real, accounting for 52% of unexplained infant deaths. The risks of SIDS increases when infants sleep on their sides or tummies or when parents smoke. But the decline in infant deaths, which has been dramatic, has faltered. Often the risks of SIDS is concentrated in specific family groups, African American families, or families with lower socioeconomic resources. Practitioners need to find ways to help parents believe. Hearing about the risk is not sufficient. Focusing on the simple steps of protection can help parents know, understand, and believe. But practitioners face the same barriers believing. Practitioners are responsible for informing parents about so many aspects of care. Practitioners must both believe in the risk and believe their message about infant sleep will have an impact. The message, when believed and shared, is simple. Infants' breathing and arousal response must be protected to assure infant safety at night. No matter where infants may sleep, these essential steps will reduce the risk of death. Attitudes about sharing information need to be examined in the framework of pursuing protection and believing in the risk. Finding the way to talk with parents about the essentials of safety will follow from believing in the true presence of the risk. Pursue protection. Shift thinking from discussions of avoiding risk to pursuing protection. With this shift in language and approach, short discussions with parents of infants can focus on the essentials of transforming care practices to assure parents' confidence in pursuing safety for their infants at every sleep. Shift from messages about what is best to discussions of what provides protection. Move parents from fear of risk to confidence in believing there are practices that can help keep their babies safe. Sleep positioning is essential in pursuing protection. Infants must be face up and face clear. Face up and face clear protects breathing and arousal response. In the end, the message is a simple one. When sleeping, infants must be on their back, their face up, their face clear of pillows, blankets, toys, and their environment must be smoke-free. Pursuing protection for every infant at every sleep requires these essential steps. In knowing and understanding, pursuing protection means sharing the information. Join us in an infant safe sleep blitz and become part of the campaign to protect infants. By sharing this simple message, you can help other practitioners and parents move from knowing about risks to understanding the importance of believing and transforming behavior. This campaign is working to bring a simple message to practitioners, a message that can support practitioners as they talk with parents about infant sleep. The conversations need not be long or complicated. Information can focus on infants' breathing and arousal response, with emphasis placed on safe sleep practices and closeness to babies to assure breathing. The steps proposed to move this message forward are simple. We can help focus conversations on what is known about infants' arousal response and breathing. Be part of the focus on essentials of safe infant sleep. We would like to thank and acknowledge Change for Our Children based in New Zealand. Their infant sleep campaign and infant safe sleep blitz has been very successful in sharing the essentials of safe sleep. We can move toward the same in just a short conversation with parents during well-child visits, or by inviting our colleagues to view this presentation. We can move the message about the importance of believing in the tragic outcomes that are associated with the known risks of SIDS.